What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Counted Out podcast. Today we got Malek here. We were recording for probably almost 40 minutes. I'm going to reset this timer.
Yeah.
And it was all lost because we did not press record. So we were talking about working out, which we're going to get back into, which we talk about working out in here quite a bit. So what are you doing now, like today? I know we were, before the break, when we realized we weren't recording,
Yeah.
we were talking about the style that you work out.
Yeah, so now, I'm in my 40s, so now the style is, I still like to do the heavier, like not too heavy, but pyramid type sets. I guess, they break up the muscle groups, different days of the week. And push it. I like to superset a lot. You go from one thing to another. It could be anything. I'm kind of mixing it up nowadays just to shock the body, and I can't go as heavy as I used to because you don't want to get injured. But that's.
Do you do a superset like a push pull, or
I don't think I don't do the push pull thing. No. I know that it's a popular thing.
Yeah.
I do the muscle. So arms, I'll do. Give just an example. I'll do what are they, skull crushers, right?
Yeah.
And then I'll go right from skull crushers to seated hammer curls, and I'll do I'll burn them out that way. I love it. It's just I like to do that as much as I can. Even when I'm doing back, I'll do, lat pull outs, I'll superset to abs, right? So that I can get two things. And then plus, time nowadays with kids and stuff, you're trying to get in, get out, and make it efficient. And also, in between sets, I do time sometimes that I'm not going over a minute and a half between sets because I'm trying to get in and get out, and then keep my cardio high as well, keep my heart rate up. But for maximum strength gain, I don't think that's the ideal way to do it. If you're trying to build muscle, I think you need to break longer, but I don't have the time at this point.
Yeah, I'm not trying to build muscle right now.
Really?
No, actually.
Trying to maintain?
Yeah, and just maybe keep solid muscle rather than growing muscle.
Yeah, and it's tough because you're not going to turn down growing muscle if you can, right? But you're not trying to get super big. But maintenance is the biggest thing, I think. I just don't want to.
I do a lot. That's the good word. I'd maintenance lift.
Yeah, because you don't want to not if I can't get in there because of an injury, that's going to mess with me. That's how I think you and I are both similar with that. We've got to put our bodies through pain. Positive pain at some point to stress, in a positive way to stay motivated, right? Or to stay in a good mood. It'll mess with your head if you can't get in there.
Oh, big time. Yeah. I'll start to feel soft after 3 days.
Yeah, for sure. Even if you take a day off and it's scheduled, you're I got to do something.
Yeah.
Go shoot some guns or something. Or lift up the ammo or something like that, So anything.
You know what one of my favorites is?
What's
is
that?
Do squats with push-ups.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Remember we did push-ups at my house
yeah.
one? Yeah.
During COVID.
Yeah.
When we were watching UFC fights.
Yeah. You said you want to do push-ups. We did push-ups. There was 10 dudes there dorks, losers.
But no, yeah, we I think
my push-up bars, remember?
Yeah. And you did 3 or 4 more than I did.
Yeah, it was something like that. It's only a couple.
I had to go first.
I think I did 80, and you did 60 or something like that. You did go first.
Yeah.
But we did. What it was is we did them on my push-up platform.
Yeah.
And you were not used to that. You wanted to do regular push-ups.
Yeah.
I wanted to do the ones that were tough, I had a whole, I was into push-ups during COVID, let me tell you. That was I was push-ups.
I still have that. You gave me your extra.
I love it, yeah, I have 2 of them at the house.
It hits different.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's way harder.
It's amazing how you can trash yourself with push-ups and air squats.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or air squats or even just, I don't stack weight doing squats anymore. I'll hold a 45-pound. You did them with me. Here's a funny thing. When it comes to body weight workouts and leg workouts for sure, I'm oh, you got it covered for sure. But isn't it funny when you go and work out with somebody and do something different how it shocks your body.
Yeah.
But you can do it. It's just a different, because you did legs with me, and you were like we were both rocked, but like that was different, right?
Yeah, yeah. It is really fun to have a friend that is like you're working out, like at a high level. I'm working out at a high level.
Yeah.
And then I go and do your workout, and I'm trashed.
Right.
And you have yet to come do one of mine, but
Yeah. No, but technically, go to jujitsu. When you roll,
yeah,
you go, I can't, like, my wind is gone. The first 5 minutes, I'm good for 5 minutes, right? And then I'm like, I need a break. You're like, no, let's keep going. I'm just like, nah, I need a break. Like, that's a different level of training, right? So, so that's your workout still, but I am still yet to go do one of your weight workouts.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I remember after we did that leg workout, dude, I was trashed for 4 days.
Yeah, but it felt great though. There's a sense of it that you're like, you like to feel that way, but that was pretty rough.
Did you start doing legs right away?
What do you mean, like?
Like when you were working out, like legs was part of your routine right away?
Well, because I learned from a guy who was enormous. Like, again, the dude that my sister was with at the time was taking me to the gym. He was enormous. He was he played football in East Carolina University in college, and he was just one of those. He was a bro, like he was enormous, right? Awesome guy, and he was repping, like, I think at the time 315 on incline, like it was nothing. Like it was nothing. I mean, he was an animal. And so seeing that, he was always adamant about symmetry, right? He always used the word symmetry, and I get it. But I always did legs. I took a small time off because of my knees with legs, but I've gotten back into legs heavier, not from a weight standpoint, but from a different, I've switched it up how I do legs now, so I'm still building muscle, but I'm working them to exhaustion so that it helps me in like real life. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like when you did them with me, we weren't breaking long. We were doing like high rep, weighted squats, lunges, whatever we could do, but kept the pace high, you know?
Yeah, that tore my shit up hard.
Yeah.
I was really sore.
It was good though. It's good.
Yeah.
It was a good workout.
Yeah.
We went like a week, right?
What's that?
We did like a week.
Yeah,
It was
maybe
like four
yeah,
five. Yeah, something like that.
a couple times.
Yeah. It's a different workout for you. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, like that type of workout, that's like different for like, that's if you want to build strength, right? And you're focused on the muscle groups. That's more of like a bodybuilding hybrid workout.
I felt like it was very much targeted toward muscle endurance.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because I'm older now, so now I'm not doing it
Yeah.
as heavy as normally, but yeah, for sure.
A lot of muscle endurance.
Yeah.
All right, so where'd you go to college?
Akron U, man.
Yeah.
Good old Akron U.
Nice.
Yeah.
How was that?
It's good. I worked through it. I took, I think I took a year off. I went right after high school, and then I screwed around. Then I took a year off, and just like anything else, it was a good experience for me. And then I went back heavy, and I finished, I want to say I took 32 credit hours in a summer to catch up. And so I took 32, I finished like a year in a summer so I could catch up and get done in relatively on time. Still a little bit late. But yeah, it was good. It was good. I worked through it, and I was able to not carry too much debt from it because I worked through it, and it was a grind, man. Like, you know, I commend anybody that can work full time, go to school, and then still stay somewhat active and in shape, because that tore me up. It was hard to do that.
Yeah. And then, right, how long out of college did it take for you to get your first job?
Right away. I interned at the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, which was kind of nostalgic in a sense because my father worked at Goodyear when he came to the country. It wasn't his first job, but it was one of his first jobs. And he built bias ply, was it bias ply airplane tires, I think it was?
Okay.
Is that right? I think that's what it was. But having my first job out of college at the company I interned for, Goodyear, which was an Akron company, you know, and I'm big on Ohio, right? So it was awesome. It was an awesome opportunity. And I took the internship very serious. So I was like their first Goodyear commercial, the commercial trucking tire intern. I was their first one that did that. And so I made sure to take it very seriously and let them know that I was interested, and they hired me right out of college and moved me right out of college to Arkansas, Fort Smith, Arkansas.
You live in Arkansas?
Yeah. I don't know if you knew that or not.
No,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they moved me to Arkansas. Actually, it was funny because they said, there was 10 people in my class, my Goodyear class for the new hires, and half of us were commercial and half of us were consumer. So like car tires and then half were truck tires. And then when you start the training, they don't tell you this when they hire you. And I don't know, Goodyear's a great company. I'm not at all knocking them for this. But they're like, hey, by the way, at the end of training, you're all moving to a different market. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm Ohio. Like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
And so Fort Smith I got lucky, Fort Smith. And that's where their commercial headquarters was at the time, for the commercial tire.
Huh.
Yep. So I lived there for about a year and then moved to Cincinnati with them. And then after that, moved back up to Akron. And then I ended up switching jobs.
Yeah. And where'd you go? Did you use T-Mobile?
T-Mobile, yep. Got into the telematics and B2B type, how do you say, like mobility space, which was just awesome. People always used to go, hey man, what mall do you work at? And I'm like, well, it's not that kind of a job,
Yeah.
but I get it. It's more of like a business solutions type job, and I got into it heavy and never looked back, you know? So that's a whole nother world of...
Right. But you're deep in that world.
Mm-hmm. Still to this day, I'm not there anymore, but still to this day, it all ties together. It's so when you get into that space, you could either do the status quo, and at that time, doing the status quo, you weren't going to make any money because T-Mobile at the time was a smaller player, right? And so the network wasn't as strong. So you had to sell it in pockets. But T-Mobile had a significant advantage at the time of the network that it was built on was good for third-party devices like trackers, right? And the tracking world for telematics and for transportation was huge. And that's where I actually end up, the company I'm at now, that's where I kind of started working with them, was at Forward Thinking Systems. They were doing a lot of tracking, and that was a big world. And so I got into that world, and I ended up doing great because that was needed. And they don't need, when you're using devices like that, it doesn't need to communicate with the network regularly. It stores and forwards the information and it sends it back. So you don't need a constant connection. So it was kind of a workaround to a network that wasn't as strong. Now the network's the best out there, in my opinion. I mean, in third-party opinions too. It's the best out there, but the telematics world is just huge. There's so much in it.
So the B2B with T-Mobile, what did that look like? How old were you? What years?
I think I started there in 2000 and was it 2009? Something like that. Oh boy. Yeah, I think it was 2008 or 2009. That I started as a sales rep, killed it. I won Winter Circle, got promoted into sales manager, took over the team, and that's kind of where I got really hot into it, man. It was like a passion of mine. Mm-hmm. Kind of like anything that I'm really into, I get passionate about. It just kind of consumes me, and that was just a grind. I think I put like 40,000 miles a year on my car, just driving all over, selling, and then hiring people and doing building sales teams in that area. And it was just a grind. It was like finding the opportunity, convincing somebody that it would work, running them through a pilot, right? Because you didn't have the number one name out there, right? So it was just a grind, and that's anything, right? Anything,
yeah.
Anything, you know what that's like.
Yeah, yeah. And so yeah, dude. I mean, yeah, I can relate to the grind.
Yeah.
Where some days it feels like, well, what am I doing?
It feels like, what are you doing? But you always know that, like, you have to do that, right? Like, what's the alternative?
There's a lot of alternatives.
Are there?
Sure.
For you?
No. But
for me?
Other people.
Sure.
Like the people that, I imagine that the people that you are on your sales team.
Yeah. Oh, that's a whole nother, you open up that world. That's a whole conversation. And that's kind of what that has like molded me a lot, just hiring and going, like working with different people, like different companies and building teams different years. That's a whole nother conversation, but you are right.
Or the people you're trying to sell to.
Or the people you're trying to sell to. Yep.
Yeah. Like, man, like how are you? Yeah.
Right.
How is this okay?
Oh yeah.
But
you learn a lot, right? You learn a lot.
Yeah.
You learn a lot about like what you don't want, if you have a business, what you want in your own life as well, and like what you need to do for sure. Yeah. So it was all experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like when you're put in a position to succeed or fail. I think it shows who you are to a point. But I've also known people that have been put in those positions that didn't do good at one spot, and then they go to another spot and they do really well.
Yeah,
You know?
I've seen that too.
It's kind of funny how that works.
Yeah, yeah.
You think it's like an interest or a passion thing?
I have no idea. Because I take like real estate for example. Like you see some people that are like, we had a guy on our team a couple years ago, and just wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing, and wasn't taking it serious. And then we let him go, and he moved to a different team, and now he's wildly successful. Wildly successful.
What is that though? Why? Was it timing?
Maybe. It might have been timing. It might have been he was working
Leadership, you think?
Different
Different types of leadership?
Could have been.
And not knocking your leadership. I've been around people that have done phenomenal around me and people that didn't do great around me, and then they go somewhere else and then that was their niche, like where they should be.
Yeah.
You know? It's
Yeah.
different types of leadership.
No idea.
You know?
No idea. But if you would have asked me when he left the team if I thought he was going to be successful, I would have said no.
Right.
And now he's just blowing away, doing super high numbers.
You ever think about like reaching out to him and just to pick his brain, be like, hey man, what happened?
He said that it was he was working he was working a full-time job at the time.
Oh, so there you go.
Yeah.
So he's trying to do both.
Yeah, I still talk to him.
No, a great story about that is Shane Shannon, one of our close friends, right? He's a guy that jumped right into it, and he took the risk, and he said, you know, if I'm going to do it, I got to do it big. And he had a job at the time, a pretty good job, and he did it. And look at him, he's done great. He's done very well for himself
Absolutely.
because he believed in himself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just if you do real estate's a thing where if you're going to do it, you got to kind of jump into it, right? I mean, you know better than anybody.
It's a weird thing, man. You cannot. 89% of realtors fail.
That's a crazy number.
In-
But that number is consists of people that are like doing it on the side too, right? Like
It's everybody, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But then it's a really tough. It's a really tough thing to do for a long time.
Well, because we'll break that down. Why? And why is it tougher than anything else? But this is good. Like I'm curious, why is it tough for a long time?
My experience has been which this is not a all right. So people are buying or selling the most expensive thing that they're ever going to buy,
Sure.
or the most valuable thing that they're ever going to sell. Not
Yeah.
all the time, but most of them kind of fall in those buckets.
Sure. Yeah.
And the emotional energy that people just inherently bring to that situation is pretty heavy. And after a while of dealing with that emotional weight through other people gets exhausting. It gets really tiring.
What keeps you going in it then? Is it just because you get the reward out of it?
Well, it's,
Like both, just helping people and also financially, it's
very lucrative.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of people hate realtors, which, makes sense.
Right.
Because on the outside, it doesn't look like you're doing a lot. But it's like a duck on water. You know, you look at a duck, you're like, well, it just floats. Look at it, it's just floating. But then under the water, the freaking duck's just going nuts.
Yeah, man.
And that is basically what it looks like on a realtor.
You know, it's funny because I've been in sales my whole career, and you're in sales, real estate sales, and it's a different thing to look at. So, like, people that look at realtors like that, they're like, why are you going to get paid so well for selling my house? And it could just be the first person that walks in.
Yeah.
You know why? And, like, if you break it down, at a sales job, you're getting paid. You might have benefits, you have a salary, you get commission, right?
Yep.
And you're working your job day to day. Realtors could literally be working. I mean, I know I've talked to Shane too. I mean, there have been he's shown people tens, tons of homes, right?
Yeah.
Driven all over, and they don't even buy anything, And then now you have spent all of that time that you cannot get back, and you're not getting paid for that, right?
Yep.
Sure, you get a tax write-off, but at the end of the day, if you get enough of those, you could cripple your business, right?
Yeah.
So you are really taking a gamble. So anybody that doesn't know why a realtor, and my wife's a realtor, right? So
Yeah.
it's a tough racket. And then you break down like the ones that are successful, right? Like there's ones that know a lot of people, and that helps. There are ones that just wanting the freedom and they like the career. And so how do they do it? They get into it because it's a passion. They have to build their own business. Ton of respect for those people. So I guess I want to say that because I have so many friends and I'm so close to real estate. My mother was a realtor too.
Yeah.
It is not an easy job at all.
Everybody knows a realtor. Everyone knows 5 realtors.
I know, but they don't know good ones though, is the thing, right? Let's say at the end of the day, you might know a realtor. Do you know a good realtor? Or do you know a realtor that is a realtor because they took the test and is actually going to run comps for you? It's going to show you the process, walk you through, give you maybe advice on things that you should focus on in a home and maybe ask for, reductions based on those things, right? That's a good realtor in me. And I've owned properties, right? So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I know what I'm looking for in a realtor.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's I wouldn't be who I am today without that career and without that business. But it's a grind. Like
Yeah.
a real grind.
But you've got a process, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, I still love it. But it is one of those things where it's like
It's a volatile market. The market's volatile because during COVID it was like blowing up, right? Like around that time frame.
yeah, it's zero control with 100% accountability. It's probably the easiest way to sum it up.
That's well said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I wouldn't say zero control. I wouldn't say zero control. You have control. There's always some control. Think about it. You have control over the effort you're putting in, over to the leads. Like I'm saying in that, but over the process itself, there's a little control on the offering, but you're right. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, you're right. It's not much control, and it's all the accountability.
yeah, you have control over how many showings you do, how many calls you make, how many events you go to, how many kids games, and then who you tell. Yeah, you have control over the like farming of your business, or the hunting and gathering of clients. There is control there.
Yep.
But once you put pen to paper on a contract and you send it over to somebody, all you're doing, you're the middleman. You're the middleman. This is what they want. Here's what they want. Information comes back. This is what they said. Well, what? Then you're in the emotional shock absorber mode.
Sure.
Yeah, they said 100. No, 200. 200. Fuck them. 150.
Right.
150. Get out of my face.
Yeah. And people, like you said, it's very personal.
Yeah, and then, hey, they said fuck off. What did you say to them? I said exactly what you said to say.
And then they get mad at you for saying it.
Well, I mean, you're the guy in the middle.
Yeah. And if you give advice and
you're
it doesn't work out right,
you're brokering the deal.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So there's the 100% accountability with zero control.
A question for you on that, because this is something that'd be hard for me in real estate, right? Like I'm like, if it's my craft, I'm an advice guy. Like I'm gonna be like, listen, you got to do this, right? Do you learn to not do that because because that could be dangerous, right?
Yeah. What I do is I try to outline a couple scenarios. Like, okay, they're like, what do you think we should do? All right, well, in the past, I've had people do this, and I've had people do this. This was the result of this action. This was the result of this action. I can't say exactly what I would do in your shoes because I don't know what your level of comfortability is. Then they'll usually like, let's pick adventure A. All right, so we run adventure A. Sometimes it works. Most of the time it doesn't work because over 13 years, I've had a lot of different experiences. And I've always been a high transaction agent until the last 2 years when we shifted into the gutter business.
Yeah.
So I do have a big history in different markets. I started selling houses that were all foreclosures.
Right.
And then got through COVID where it was all, 10 offers on one property.
Yeah, no inspection needed, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I can teach
Which is crazy to me.
And I can teach somebody how to build an offer that's really, really good in both, dynamics.
Yeah.
And now we're kind of more into like a 2016 to 2019 type balanced market where it's still sometimes really hot and sometimes not.
Yeah.
So it's
I love
interesting.
it. I love
interesting.
it. And hearing you talk about it, what I love is I'm going through with my sales team. This is in general, like in any sales team I've ever been in charge of, right, or worked with. Knowing the scenarios, right, that you're going to face. And so if you're calling somebody, what are you going to say? And what are they going to say back to you? And like just how you answered the situation that I outlined for you, like, so, hey, are you an advice guy? Do you give advice? Right away, you gave me a scenario and you had 3 scenarios in your head to give to somebody. You know what I mean? And what's great about that is I'm literally going through that training with my team now. And it's like it never stops. You always have you have to work on the craft. And so I'm like, I call it an objection tree, right?
Yeah.
Where if they say this, what are you going to say? And it's not about lying or manipulation. It's about truthfully, what are you going to say to them in those scenarios? They're going to make them see, do you have a real opportunity to work with them or not? And if you don't, that's okay. Win fast, lose fast, right?
Yeah.
Don't waste a bunch of time on something and try to coerce. The days of in sales of like everybody's a prospect, like that's garbage. Okay, first of all, like you're gonna force feed somebody something they don't need. That's the wrong way to sell, right? But if somebody does need something and they don't want to make the time to meet with you, how do you differentiate yourself to get that time? And just what you just did there, right? In subtlety, you do it naturally, and a lot of people are not capable of that, right? You'll see it. They need the practice. I work on that with people all the time on those things. But the ones that really want to win and that really want to know their craft, they sit and they outline those things. And you don't learn it all in a day, right? But what are those? If you make 100 calls in a day, you're going to get potentially 100 different responses and objections. Are you writing those down? How are you building it? That's the difference in people that I've seen over the years, is that the people that see that and go, I need to prepare for all of those scenarios without somebody telling me to do it, even in life, those are the people that win. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And that's why, look at, have your own team, you start another business, right? Because why did you start a business? Well, real estate is an awesome career, but it's volatile. You have limited control over it, right?
Yep.
But you have more control over another business that also feeds into real estate as well. If you think about it, they all tie together. It's a home. You're doing gutters. It's an amazing thing. So I find it I truly find it fascinating to see people that are into their craft like that, because I'm very much like that. And to us, it's second nature. And what I've learned is that people need guidance. They need that leadership to understand there are better ways to approach the day. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. I also think that boil any situation down in its, or any business down, and it all boils down to relationships and how quickly you can form a relationship, which means how quickly can you gain someone's trust.
That's better said, because you could trust somebody and not have a relationship with them.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think it's relationship. I think it's trust. I think it's credibility.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like how fast can I convince this person I'm not full of shit?
Exactly. It's well said. But that's credibility. To me, it's not really. So if somebody calls you, right, and says, "Hey Jim, I don't know you, but I'm thinking about selling my house. Why would I use you?" Right away, you're probably going to lean on things and not stutter and not sound inconsistent and not sound timid, right? But the people that sound timid and that don't know what they're talking about and have no experience to share with somebody are immediately excluded from the conversation. Does that make sense?
Yeah. If you called me and said, "Hey, thinking about selling my house, why should I use you?"
You got an answer.
Yeah.
You got 6.
They're not answers. Where do you live? When was your house built? What improvements have you done to your house? How long have you lived in the house? Why are you selling the house? It's immediately where I'm going.
You're doing your discovery.
Yeah.
But what if they're like, everybody's going to ask me questions, Jim. Like, but why would I answer those questions with you?
Well, I got to figure out that if I'm going to be the right person to sell your house.
Scarcity. So what you're doing, there's these principles. I didn't make these up. The principles of persuasion. Robert Cialdini, a guy from 83. He's a sales, wrote the I think it was the 6 Principles of Persuasion, right? And you're not doing it to manipulate somebody at all. But you're saying, I don't know if I'm the right fit for you.
Yeah.
Because you don't really know if you're the right fit.
Yeah.
But that in turn is scarcity. It's an honest, authentic answer that somebody hears you give them, and then they take you more seriously.
10 years ago, I'd be like, well, I sold 40 houses last year.
You pitch. You're pitching it.
Yeah, I'll pitch right away.
Yeah.
But today it's like, okay, that's a very, that's an interesting way to start the conversation.
It is.
So.
And they're probably expecting that.
Yeah. So let me figure out if I want to get involved in this rodeo before, you know. You found my phone number somehow, which tells me that, you've done some research.
Yeah.
So let me do some research before I answer the question of, am I the right guy to sell?
Yeah, even, hey, how'd you get my information? Love to learn about it, right? Was it a referral? Any of those, but you're right, discovery is, you got to know if you're a good fit. Man, when you get into the psychology of sales and salespeople, it is the gift that is just like, it never ends. It's such an interesting thing.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It's problem solving.
It is. It is.
It
is.
Because you're selling a product that is necessary.
Yeah, they have to have it.
Yep.
In my world, I'm selling a product, and same with you, right? But, well, they don't have to have, they can rent, but like in my world, there's extreme competition. We all kind of do the same things, but not the same things, right? And so they're getting the same thing every day. They hear somebody calling them, it's the same story. I'm like, hey guys, differentiate yourselves. Sound like a human being, talk to them. Say, hey, I don't know if we're going to be able to help you. We don't know that. And the last kind of business we want to bring on board is the business that is going to be unhappy with the product, right? Could we serve 99%? Sure, but we all do things. They all have a thing that they do pretty well. What do we do better? Do you know what it is that we do better? What problem is that solving, right? And so it keeps going, and it's fun. To me, it's fun to dig into it.
Well, you've been on it. You've been in
Over 20 years.
And 20 years ago, people weren't really putting GPS on their fleet vehicles.
They were doing it in such a small capacity, it didn't work like it does today. Nowadays, they're doing cameras. Now it's video cameras with I could tap into your vehicle and see what you're doing right now if I want to, which is just, a strange thing. Some businesses need it, but it's a strange thing. But then everybody's doing that. But what do you do with that data? Now it's AI. Now we're into the AI. So now if you look to the right for too long, it knows that you're not supposed to be doing that. If you're yawning, it knows that you're tired, right? But it can differentiate a yawn in the morning for getting started for the day versus a yawn that you're just, distracted and getting fatigued, right?
Yeah.
So, which is a great tool. There's a lot of advantages to the technology that is come around. There's absolute advantages, right? Even for cold chain monitoring, right?
What's cold chain monitoring?
So if they're transporting frozen goods and they need to know that the temperature is staying at a certain level, right? All the way through transport, so there's not foodborne illnesses or anything like that, or spoilage. There's so many things you can do with it. So there's temperature beacons now that look a little like Apple AirTags kind of, but they're little beacons, and they'll send the temperature. So it's a really cool industry. It's constantly evolving. It will always evolve. From where I was in it from the beginning to now, each 5 or 6 years, there's a new regulation or a new technology that is kind of the focus, and where people either have to get into it or want to get into it. Cameras are what's going on right now, in-vehicle cameras.
Yeah.
Connected vehicles, because not the ones from Amazon. It's the ones that are connected with modems and a terabyte of storage in it and stuff like that. But what's deeper than that is it doesn't matter the product you sell. It's how you see the world, how you see people, and how you approach the day. And I don't know. I could talk about that forever. I do it every day at work.
Yeah. So talk about what you do today.
So today I am working for a company called Forward Thinking Systems, which is a software company out of New York, running a sales team there, and it's software, telematics. It's hardware's a component of it, but it's the necessary part of the solution. Software is really the meat and potatoes of everything.
Okay.
It's taking that information that the hardware is sending over the air. How do you put that information into a palatable format for the business that you're working with, right? So it's software, but ultimately it's sales. That's what it is. It's sales and leadership.
So you guys take hardware and put it into fleet vehicles.
That's right.
Which allows that company to track, monitor their freight, which is going from A to B, and making sure that that driver stays safe, efficient. What else?
So I'll put it like this.
Yeah.
Because it does so much. It takes the silos of your business and it brings them in to a single platform, a single pane of glass. If you really want it at a high level, it sounds salesy, but let's break that down. Now this is where when you're selling, you got to like explain to customers what the value is. So it connects right into the vehicle's computer, which your truck has one. It's an OBD2 port, and then the trucks have one. It's round. It's a J-bus. So there's a plug-in port, and since like 1996 and newer, they like mandated that this port was there.
Yeah,
so if you have a check engine light, right?
Yeah, you can plug in whatever, read all the codes.
That's
and
right.
Take those codes to the computer. It can tell you what part of your engine isn't firing right.
That's right.
Yeah, your emissions,
All of
anything
that.
from your gas cap to your tire pressure.
That's right. So step one is you've got your maintenance coming right in. So it's real predictive maintenance coming in, telling you what the health of the vehicle is. So it's bringing your maintenance together. Then it's also tracking in that same solution, but it's a camera as well. So now you've got your telematics and your camera in one device. So then it starts there. So you've got safety, maintenance, and then you bring it into, depending on if you're using it for dispatching, you can use turn-by-turn navigation with it, with the application. So we do everything cradle to the grave, from the fleet, from maintenance all the way to safety to dispatching and all those analytics. And then what do you do with that information? There's so many things you can do with it. And here's the thing about it, Jim, is like you go and you talk to fleets today that have these systems in place, and a lot of them aren't even using them to the fullest potential that they can, or they're unaware of how much more they can do with it. Like if I had my own fleet, I'm absolutely using these systems to the fullest capability, and I'm going to start my day and end my day in that system because it literally gives me every aspect of information that I need to operate my fleet. It's like the health of your fleet, essentially, in a summarized format.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And as a business owner, that's something you want to know.
Oh, for sure. Especially when you have, some of these trucks are over $100,000 out there, right? I mean, they're expensive vehicles.
More than that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's just the truck, not the trailer.
That's just the truck, not
and
the
not
trailer.
and not all the all the goodies that are on board.
Oh, the tire. I worked at Goodyear. At Goodyear, they just the tires alone, the fact of an underinflated tire and how much it affects, the fuel capacity in a vehicle and the rolling resistance and how the wear and tear. That alone, I mean, companies will save millions of dollars on their tires, on their fuel from operating their tires properly.
Do you ever think about where trucking's going in the next 20 years?
I think about it, and we talk about it, and it's hard. It's like you almost think it's going to go. It's hard to believe it, but automating it. I mean, I'm on the forefront of the technology end of it.
Yeah.
So they're automating a lot of things. Automating the full scale freight is where fleets are probably trying to get to. I don't know if we're there yet, but if you could imagine, from electric vehicles and then AI, that's really kind of the next phase, the next big phase, right?
Yeah.
You could imagine it using AI ourselves.
Yeah.
It's pretty intelligent.
Automated, trucks.
Yeah.
They just pull out on their own.
That's crazy. The one thing that AI is not going to replace ever is the emotional aptitude of human beings to communicate, and have conversations and establish those engagements for sales, though, right? Mm-hmm. You can get information from it, but it's not going to be able to replace that. I don't believe.
No. There's always going to be someone doing what you're doing, and then there's always going to be someone on the receiving end implementing the systems.
Yeah.
On that end, maybe the driver. What happens with the driver?
Well, I don't know. That's tough because they're making the driver smarter. They're making the driver safer. Will it fully replace the driver? I think it could at some point. I don't know. I hope it's there to help the driver So that, because I mean, that's a whole new world of replacing drivers and then, job loss, which I would hate to see have happen, but
Yeah.
it certainly is enhancing the driver's ability to do their job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It does. I mean, even on the other end of the systems, selling them and seeing how the tools that we offer and how much goes into just our team, like how they develop these products and the thought process, and then how far you can take them. It's pretty impressive. Software's pretty impressive world.
Yeah. It is. It's crazy. It's something that I don't, I know it's there.
Yeah.
But
You use it every day.
I do. Yeah. I use it.
Everywhere.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
No matter what.
On your phone, on your computer, on your truck. There's different kinds of software. I'm sure that they call it that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, all kinds of stuff.
So, do you want to talk about what your, like, whatever, I don't know if it's like a pet project, but what you're doing right now?
The average gunner?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. We can talk about it.
Yeah.
Talk about whatever you want.
Well, when did you get into, like, shooting as a hobby?
With you. So I've had guns probably the majority of my adult life. I've always had them. I had like 3, right? I had 2 handguns and an AR.
And what'd you get them for?
I got them just for I felt like I had to have them. I felt like it was a thing around my group of people I ran with, like, you need them for protection. I got them and I never really did anything with them. You know? I went and shot a couple times. And then I called you one day about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, something like that. It hasn't been that long. And I said, hey, let's go. I want you to show me what you know with the guns.
Yeah.
Like, show me what you know. I said, if I have these things, I want to know how to use them as good as I can. Mm-hmm. And you said, yeah, no problem, let's go. And so we went, and that was it. Like, and I blame you entirely, but we went, we shot, and then I was like, it's something about, there's a challenge aspect to it that I find that is so intriguing, like learning the guns and the technology in them, and then the differences between them, and then getting good with them, and the challenge of really getting good with them, and I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
As you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a cool thing. I think I bought a gun because it's like, well, why not? I'm allowed to.
Yeah, have you ever, like, you've been into them longer than me. Not like, we probably had them for the same length of time, but you've actually used them longer than me. But
Yeah.
do you find that my passion is now starting to get into you more now, making you get more into it than you used to be?
I don't know. I think for me, it's always been, I remember being an adult. I didn't grow up around guns at all. What I've seen the level that you've taken it to is further than I ever went.
But does that get you into it more because you're one of your close friends? Because I'm always asking you to go shoot. Do you think it's like getting you kind of amped up about it more?
All right. So I think of it in this weird existential way, where we live in a very gun-populated society. There's like 2 guns for every person that lives in America.
Is that the stat?
Something like that. It's huge.
I thought it was more than that.
It's ridiculous. There's so many guns in the United States of America.
It's good. It's a good thing.
Well, I kind of just thought, like, you know what? These things are around. It's probably something that as an adult, I should know. I should know about this tool, and I should understand it, and respect it, and be proficient with it in case of disaster.
Yeah.
Never want to be, a gardener in a war.
Yeah. Well said.
I just don't. That's just not. We earlier, before we realized that the camera wasn't recording, it was part of like an identity. Like, I don't ever want to feel helpless.
Yeah. That's probably where it starts for most men.
Yeah, and that was a reason that I wrestled in high school. It was a reason that I got into jiu-jitsu. I just didn't want to feel helpless.
Yeah, right.
And so I was exposed to firearms probably in my late teens, and I remember not being able to hit a target. And, you know, you see it on TV and you see it on movies, and it's just like, you know,
Yeah.
someone's got a pistol and they shoot a bad guy. Like
It's easy.
yeah.
Right.
And then you hear on the news, like, well, why didn't he just shoot him in the leg?
Yeah,
Like,
I hate that. Yeah.
pick that thing up and try to hit what
Yeah.
you're aiming at. It is very, very difficult. So when I did actually buy a firearm, I was probably 28 or 29 years old. And at that point, I was like, all right, well, also, I was in, when I got into real estate, there was a whole bunch of, hey, you know, this is actually a fairly dangerous career. And you're like, well, like how? You know, no one thinks of it as
you're a man.
dangerous.
It's different, but still, you're right. Yeah.
It is a dangerous career because you're meeting somebody at an empty house.
Yeah, could be anybody.
Could be anybody. So I took a class on for the concealed carry permit.
CCW, right?
Yeah, and I got my CCW in like 2014.
Because then you had to have it to carry, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
in Ohio, and so you had to go get qualified.
Right.
And when qualifying, I realized this thing is you're shooting an 8-inch pie plate at 7 or 8 yards.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, this is actually really hard.
Yeah. For right out of the gate, shooting, that's tough.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
And then so at that point, I was like, all right, well, this is something that if I'm going to own this thing, if I'm ever going to carry this thing, I need to hit, for me, a certain level of proficiency so that, like, you know what I mean? So that, it's a responsibility.
Absolutely.
It's a huge responsibility that I don't think gets talked about enough.
No.
That if you're going to own one of these things, it comes with a very high level of responsibility.
I totally agree.
That means it needs to be, you always need to know where it's at. You always need to know the status of it. Is it loaded? Is it not loaded? Is it locked up?
Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I don't think that gets talked about nearly enough. And
I agree.
I think that in our culture, it is provided for. As a citizen living here, you are allowed to have it, and if you're allowed to have it, you should have it. But with that comes a very high level of responsibility.
Totally agree.
And so with that said, first, yeah, if I know exactly where it's at, what the status is, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, then we get into, oh, by the way, this is a ton of fun.
Oh, it's a ton of fun. Why? I don't know. I still to this day can't even explain why I love it so much and it's so much fun. I have ideas. I just fell in love with it, but it's a ton of fun. It's a lot of fun. When you get good at it too, the challenge is fun, right?
Yeah.
But then as you get better at it, it's fun. And then just like anything else, you have good days in jiu-jitsu, you have good days in shooting, you have bad days in shooting, right?
Yeah.
So,
It's super interesting.
100%. I agree with you on the responsibility part, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just starting there, I mean,
it's just like driving a car.
yeah, but people still, it's the same thing. You got people that take driving a car very seriously, and they have a process when they get in the car, and then when they get out of the car, right? And to be fair, I mean, we are just used to it at this point, right? But
You're driving a slow-moving missile.
yeah, but it's same thing with guns, though. People that they get a gun, it's a different process for different people. But I feel like the more people know about them and learn about them, the safer they are with them. They respect them more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you know how powerful those things are.
It's a sacred responsibility.
It really is.
That I think gets kind of like just pushed away to almost into like a bro culture or, a reckless or what do you need that for?
Yeah. And I don't look. I'm not going to get into statistics on this because I wouldn't even have them. I don't even know how you could get them. But I would venture to say that the people that actually are trained properly with them and respect them, and actually are into the hobby, are the ones that are less likely to be negligent with the firearms. Right. So my children, they have been taught the rules of how to use a firearm already. I mean, all three of them, even Kylie, the youngest, right? They all have gone with me to the range. They know how to shoot it. They know the rules, how to be safe with them and everything like that. And I personally just love learning about them. And I treat them with absolute respect. I like to take them apart, learn about them, anything I can. And it's just, I think that just like you said, you explained it really well. It's kind of like you get into jiu-jitsu for that reason. You lift weights for that reason. You don't want to feel helpless, and you want to be able to control those things. There's so much power in them. You want to respect them and also be able to control them and wield them with a skill set that shows a discipline. It's kind of like if somebody sees you, they see you're in shape, right? They can't take that from you. You earn that. That's a discipline you're showing in your body that that is your standard. You're gonna work out, take care of yourself to a point where you're showing a discipline. There's not a lot of people. Listen, let's call it what it is. Look around you. We're in our 40s, right? I want everybody around me to be in amazing shape and be healthy, but there's not a lot of people that carry that discipline, and we all got excuses, right? Oh, I work too. I got 3. I get it. Like, so it's a discipline. It is a level of investment that you have decided to put into something that is important. And I think that firearm training, jiu-jitsu, all those things to some level, they're important for our society in general. I really do.
Yeah, I do too. And it's provided for in the Constitution of the United States of America. And it's, I think it's definitely a good thing.
Yeah.
I support the right of people to have it, but I do think that if a lot of tragedy is blamed on firearms.
Yeah, and I think you go deeper into that and you see it's not the firearm. They're gonna, it's not the firearm's fault, right? But
it might be the attitude that gets toward them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What do you mean? Like how people see them?
Yeah, I think culturally.
Listen, let me just say, I see so many people, even in the government, talk about firearms when they're against them, and they don't even understand what they're talking about, right? And my thing is, for you, I tell people this, and I don't want to be like held at, you use it universally, right? But pretty much universally, if you're going to take advice from somebody on something, they have to have at least as many hours, if not more hours than you, into what they're talking about, right? In my opinion, right? And so when you see people talking about firearms, I've seen so many clips where in Congress, they don't even know what the hell they're talking about. They're explaining something, they're calling it an assault pistol. They said an assault pistol the other day. I'm like, what is an assault? Like, it doesn't even make sense. And they don't even, they're not, and that's deliberately, in my opinion, well, not even deliberately on their end, they don't even know what they're talking about, honestly. Yep. But the American people see this, and they're like scared, and they live in fear because they don't know what, they think that machine guns are like what you're using. Like it's a machine gun. And you're like, you don't even know what you're talking about. It's not even what it is. But not to get into that, I will say this. The average gunner, the whole point behind that, it started with when I got into guns. I keep touching that thing. When I got into guns, sorry. I didn't know a lot, and I was nervous about like asking people stupid questions. Yeah. And so thank God I had you, right? And then I started researching it myself, and I got lost in it. And then I was like, well, what about the people that want to go buy a gun? What should they buy? Well, you start with a handgun, and then, but what handguns should you get, right? And so you go shoot one gun, it's different than shooting the next gun. And so one aspect of it was, I have shot a lot of guns in a short amount of time, and I own a lot of guns in a short amount of time. And now I understand the fundamentals, how to hold a gun and everything. Grip is everything in a gun, right? In holding a gun. But I think that some people don't know what they're buying. They need these, they go buy a small little gun. Oh, it's a concealment, but can you shoot that gun well, right? You know, so I remember I bought my wife a small Ruger EC9S for her gun. And I'm like, let's go shoot it. It'll be fun. The thing's snappy as hell. She can't shoot it. Yeah. She doesn't like it. But she likes shooting my 1911s a lot, right? Like, it's fun. It's spoiled. So I want to educate people on, hey, when you buy a gun, yeah, concealment's good, but then you really got to train with it because it's a different gun to shoot, you know? So that's aspect one. And one of the main reasons I started it, and it's a passion. I just love it.
Yeah, and,
you know?
And what we're talking about is the hobby.
Yes.
The hobby.
Yeah.
Which is no different than getting on a motorcycle.
Yep.
You know?
Right.
Someone goes and buys a Harley, right? Doesn't wear a helmet. Very, very dangerous.
Absolutely. They can still get away with it and never get hurt.
Without a bad rap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There might be some people, that idiot on a motorcycle with no helmet. But you know what I mean? it's I think there's just yeah. I mean, we're talking about you know, firearms in America, which is like the hottest topic that you can talk about. But as a hobby,
That's why I'm trying to pivot away from the political side of it.
but I think we should just like kind of just talk about as a hobby. It can be a very wholesome hobby for discipline.
Yes. Yeah,
That
absolutely.
pulls in responsibility. It pulls in a whole bunch of different things.
It pulls in fitness. It pulls in the disciplines of fitness. It is, if you've ever held a rifle, right, for a long period of time and practiced your draw, right, or even a handgun, that can be taxing on your body if you're not used to it, right? Now, for people like you and me, we do it a lot, so it's different. But like, if you're just getting into this hobby, or if you're just getting into wanting to use a gun, well, you got to be strong too. Like, you got to understand that your grip is going to have a lot to do with it, and strength has, in my opinion, fitness has a lot to do with it, right? Look at this, what's synonymous with the hobby. Typically, you see people that are into some kind of fitness routine or into martial arts and then also into guns. It doesn't have to be universal. They can be into guns alone as well. That's okay. But these hobbies are typically synonymous. And then you go into the mentality of it as well, right? I think that, you know, that's a big part of it, but not to go in 50 directions, but I think that the disciplines of, you know, the fitness world and then also into, you know, that discipline as well, you know, when you're doing reps and reps and reps and you're doing reps of how quick you're pulling your draw, or, you know, how quickly can you get it on. You and I do practice where we try to get on target fast, right? Why are you doing that?
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, hopefully you never, ever really need to use it. That's not the goal.
No, that's not the goal at all.
It's fun to just be good at it.
It's a very difficult thing to do.
It's a challenge.
And you know what's actually a very beautiful thing? If you go to a gun range on a Saturday afternoon, the diversity that you see, and then the camaraderie that you see.
It's like jujitsu.
Yeah. All different walks of life, and everybody's super friendly, and everybody's super accommodating. Supportive. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, it's just like jiu-jitsu. When I got into jiu-jitsu, it was the same thing. You were supportive. The whole place was supportive. And in the gun world, it's the same thing. And I am the same way, whatever knowledge I have. And I'm not an expert. I even say that on the page. I said, look, I'm not an expert. I'm putting in the reps. I want to get, because, you know, when people are looking to get into the hobby, they see these guys like Pewview, who's awesome. Like, I mean, Aspire, right? And then Honest Outlaw, and you're like, these guys are amazing, and it's intimidating to them. You know, like they're unbelievable.
Oh my God.
You know, and for me, I'm like, I wish like to be like that one day, but also that can turn some people like away from it to be like, oh my God, I'm not anything like that, right? So seeing somebody who's average, right, who's doing it and learning with them, and going to show them not everything's perfect, and even those guys, it's not always perfect, right?
Yeah.
They're not always perfect. They're better because of their experience. But I want them to see that. And the other aspect of the whole thing I'm doing with that is, I've been in leadership my whole life. It's just been part of, I guess, my DNA, right? I start at a company and I'm always in the leadership space, right?
Yeah.
And I see so many people that need. They're going through a lot. People are going through a lot. And I'm not soft to that. I'm not like judgmental of that. I take that seriously and I want to help people with that. And so the other aspect of it is motivational, like being positive around what the content that I share, around being strong-minded, and, you know, nobody's coming to save you. So you have to get routines in yourself. And, you know, we've all had our times of being in, you know, those dark places. Sometimes you don't have somebody to lift you up through those places. And so sometimes you have people that actually push you deeper into those places, right? So I'm around, I've been around so many, you know, men and women in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, it doesn't matter. And to see that the strength of my mind, even as weak as I've been at times, is not as common as you think, and I like to give that back to people. And it takes putting yourself out there, which can be hard at times, but that's the other aspect of why I'm doing that page. I want it to be positive. I want it to be motivating to people. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. And then something we've talked about is people who like getting a little bit of, when you're putting yourself out there on the internet, people are not always supportive.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
Let's break into that. That'll be a good conversation.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
Why do I think it is? So it's, well, let's first break down. This is how my brain works. It's very like much kind of like a sickness in ways, and it's a blessing. First break down, what is it? My wife hears this all the time from me. I'm like, somebody looks at your stuff, right? They look at all your stuff. And so they can choose to just look and keep going. And there are people like that. And there are people that like, once in a while will like things. And there are people that will just not look at any of your stuff because they're just not on social media. So then you got to classify what, and we honestly, you say don't even look at it, it's not worth it. But
Yeah.
like, I like to learn people, right? So what the hell, like you're supposedly one of my good buddies, right? So they're looking at your stuff. They're making a conscious decision to look at all of your things and to not comment, not like it. So here's the thing. If they don't support what you're doing, then why look at it? That's just, then why are you looking at it, right? But if you're looking at it, and if there are things you know that they're into too and they support, why don't they want you or support what it is that you're doing, or at least give you a like or a comment or, hey man, good job, keep going? Why is it? Why do you think that is? I think I have my own assessment, but why do you think that is?
I think there's some people that just look at stuff and they don't like anything.
Is that it?
Could be.
But do you think that, so we talked about this the other day. So if I'm out of shape and I'm posting, if I'm fat and I'm posting videos of me working out, what do you think kind of feedback I'm going to get?
Great job.
Good for you.
Good for you.
Keep going.
Um,
You're going to get there.
yeah, you'll probably
Don't
get
quit.
Some negative.
Not in your own circle, I don't think so. You're right. If it's in the public, in your own circle, I don't think you're gonna get negative. If you're like, hey, I'm on this journey to lose weight, and it's just it's not an open network, right? I think most people are gonna be positive. They're gonna be like uplifting. Don't you think?